Hi, good day to everyone. Welcome to Good Eats. My name is Oscar Stuart. I am your host of Good Eats, and I would like to thank you all for tuning in to the show. What is Good Eats? Good Eats is a 30-minute talk show promoting agriculture, healthy lifestyle, easy cooking tips and recipes. And I would like to thank you for being here today and tuning into Good Eats. And my guest today on Good Eats is Mr. Carey Turnquest, a veteran of over a decade of experience in the hospitality industry. And Mr. Turnquest is also an avid gardener, farmer. And so we'd like you to tune into this show for what we would be offering in Good Eats on this show today. We'd like to welcome Mr. Turnquest to Good Eats.
Oscar, good afternoon, and thank you so much for having me.
Mr. Turnquest, thank you very much for being here today on the inaugural episode of Good Eats. I was very humble and grateful for you being here to share your knowledge and your passion for farming, gardening, and all the wealth of information that you will bring to us that relates to agribusiness, agritourism. And so once again, we'd like to say thank you for being here, Mr. Carey. How are you, Mr. Turnquest?
It's a privilege to be here, and thank you so much for having me, as I said. Congratulations on the launch, and I know you and Raquel Benabi are up to great things.
Yes, we are at RBN. We're here trying to empower and transform lives through knowledge and through healthy perspective of mind, body, and soul. And so with that said, Mr. Turnquest, first and foremost, I'd like to ask you to please tell the viewers how long have you been farming and involved in the farming industry, please?
So my interest really started in high school, really when I was a teenager. My grandfather has a mango farm. And for decades, he cultivated his farm. And so when I was growing up, I would join him. My brother would join us as well. And we would go and pick mangoes. We'd have buckets and crates of mangoes. And then we'd take it to my grandmother's shop for it to being sold. So I was able to see it, really the full scope of agriculture, of farming, of gardening as well, of seeing the fruit growing, the tree bearing fruit, the fruit growing, picking the fruit, which one was the right and ripe one, and then really witness it being sold to the customer, and those customers returning because the mangoes were so sweet. And from there, it really evolved for me, developing an interest in farming and in gardening as well.
Yes, that's great. I've been told that you guys have quite a significant amount of mango trees, that sometimes you have to be dodging the mangoes when they start dropping off the trees that you guys get there. And so with that said, those mangoes, let's start there with the mangoes. With you being in the hospitality industry and having a lot of connections with chefs, how do you find that is important to the chef to incorporate these local products into their native dishes for our tourist market to enjoy this experience as it relates to this tropical experience, so to speak, with good food?
So beyond mangoes, I think that we as a destination really have to incorporate more local fruits, vegetables, and other types of produce. Why should we? When we look at some of the emerging hospitality trends that are happening around the world, they're really looking at three things. And these are primarily from millennials, and they're the fastest growing demographic group that are traveling right now and that have and will have even greater disposable income. So, why should we incorporate local produce? So first, one of the emerging trends is that our guests want food and beverage, but for food that is primarily nutritious. There are a lot of diets out there, but generally speaking, providing guests with a balanced diet in their food when they come to visit, they find that to be a critical part of their vacation destination. And so gone are the days when we could just provide them with a burger. And while that, we could still do that in some cases, but any burger, know that we want a burger that is of the highest quality, particularly in the luxury market as well. Guests still want to try crack conch, but they still want perhaps to have it grilled and to have the conch that is fresh. So I say that to say that one of the emerging trends is to have food that is locally grown and locally harvested. When it has to be imported and brought over, quite a distance, the nutritional value does decrease over time. And so generally our local produce is more nutritious. When we look at, again, why should we, as a destination, incorporate these local ingredients? It's because guests want to experience a destination that is sustainably oriented. And when I say that, one, an economy where they believe that the money that they are contributing is going back into the local economy, and one in which they believe that their contribution of their tourist dollars are also helping the environment. Local produce and buying local produce really does that. First, if a guest is buying a local mango or a local tomato or eating from a local tomato, those dollars are staying in the destination. Similarly, local produce does not produce the kind of carbon dioxide and transporting it to the destination than international produce does. And so local produce definitely helps in our Bahamian sustainability. We also believe that we should incorporate our local produce because guests are really interested in authentic experiences at the end of the day. That's not just for our guests that come to the Bahamas, but really that's a worldwide trend. We see that when guests want to go to visit local markets in Thailand, or they want to pick the berries from Italian wine vineyards, the same is true for our Bahamian food and beverage industry. They want to taste that Bahamian guava. They want to taste that Bahamian sapodilla. They want to taste local greens, our local seafood, because they want to feel as if, even if they're in a big box tourist destination, they want to feel as if they're in an authentic experience. And I believe that our local hotels and resorts are really moving in that direction and seeing these worldwide trends.
Yes, Mr. Turnquest, interesting that you mentioned that, because as it relates to the fresh produce, not having to make the transport to speak from one location to the other. And so for the chefs and the guests, how vital is it for us here in this country to be able to meet the supply, the demand, to have the supply to meet the demand for the guests to constantly be able to buy local produce themselves with the emergence of Airbnb and such. So a lot of guests and stuff would still cook their own food sometimes while they're on a vacation and wanting to be able to find the fresh produce. How vital is it? How difficult do you find that it is to constantly meet that demand by the supply provided here by the local farmers?
Oscar, truthfully, that's the biggest challenge that we face. And we as Bahamian farmers and gardeners have to do a better job, frankly, at that. We've found that, and again, it's not always the case, but we have some challenges with consistency. Consistency in regarding the quantity. We may be able to receive a certain amount in one particular week, but the next week we may not be able to receive that amount. We know that agriculture is hard, and so we have to be able to provide that sort of consistency. We also have to make sure that we provide a consistency and quality as well. And, you know, we just can't provide any mango, or mango that isn't ripe, or mango that is overripe, but we should provide a mango that is properly ripened, and one where guests will be able to fully appreciate it, and one that speaks to the excellence of the destination. And so really it's critical for us to make sure that we live up to the standards. You know, you spoke about Airbnbs and the power of the customer. And we find that our customers today are some of the smartest and most well-informed than they have been anywhere. And really that's the power of social media nowadays. And so guests are commenting on message boards, they're commenting on Facebook, other social media sites, on Airbnb comments as well. And so we have to make sure that we are really living up to an international level of excellence as well.
Yes. So please elaborate for us on some of the linkages as it relates to farming and the hospitality industry with tourists. What is it that you find most of the visitors, when they come in, even as in seafood? Well, we know a lot of them, they seafood, they look for the lobster particularly, and some are just being introduced to the conch, etc. And so what do you find is it that they have a craving for, to really want to try the most?
Gosh, you know, the linkages between agriculture and tourism are really endless. Seafood is huge. We're surrounded by water. And so guests come here wanting to take advantage of our fisheries. Conch, you mentioned as well. They're also exposed to other fisheries such as softened snapper, grouper as well. We also have a bit of, and I shared a little earlier on the sustainable aspect of tourism as well. And we have created a story that we would like to move towards a more sustainable product. So for example, some restaurants are now providing lionfish, and now that's an invasive species that has been introduced to the Bahamas.
Yes.
A lot of our fishermen can provide more lionfish to a lot of our restaurants, and chefs can utilize lionfish as an example to share how we are, one, improving the environment and providing a healthier ecosystem for our fisheries. You know, beyond that, there are, as I said, the opportunities for the linkages are endless. And I've seen where we have local chefs provide amazing products for our customers. One in particular that comes to mind is Chef Wayne Munker, and he has utilized our local fruits into his ice cream. And so, you know, he's used mango and dilly and soursops, sugar apple, and infuses it in ice cream. And it's absolutely delicious. Lines are out the door. And so that's really a source of pride for us as well. In desserts are huge, you know, across buffets. We've seen guava duff, and we've seen pineapple tarts as well. A source of pride for our Bahamian produce as well. Even in our beverages, we find that a lot of our beverages are garnished by Bahamian herbs as well, from rosemary to thyme and other Bahamian herbs as well. So we have a whole lot of opportunities at our disposal.
Yes, interesting you mentioned that, Mr. Turnquest. I was speaking this morning, remembering the first time I was introduced to the tropical conch salad. For me at that time, even being local, it was something unheard of to imagine having pineapples and mangoes, etc., in a conch salad. It is, and I remember the first time I tried, it was actually amazing, and I quite liked it. And so with these experiences for the guests, can be quite amazing. And so when they would see these things and learn these things and have an opportunity to experience it, the culmination of the different fruits and even paired with seafood. It's an amazing experience. And so when the guests would be able to, sometimes they want to buy their own fresh fish or their own lobsters. And you mentioned earlier about having the market. Um, what is it that you think we can offer our guests by having a market, a produce market where they can go to and visit, even as just an experience, to experience our market here with our local products where they can go in and purchase instead of saying to the food stores?
I think that there's a huge opportunity. I know BAIC has the produce exchange, and I know that there's a movement to privatize that as well. And frankly, that's where we should be moving towards, where farmers move into a co-op of sorts, where they
Yes.
can, have a place where we are proud to welcome our tourists, able to welcome our guests, and to create a story. At the end of the day, tourism is really all about storytelling. And guests have a great connection to the Bahamas because of the stories that we provide. Similarly, as you were telling the story about the first time you tried the tropical conch salad, I love that as well. But there's nothing more that guests would like to hear than a farmer telling about how proud they are. Or in my case, for example, I was able to speak about my grandfather taking me on his farm and the sense of pride that farmers are able to speak about their produce. Guests can sense that, and they can go home and share the sort of stories that they hear about the Bahamas during their time in our destination as well. And so I think that we should not, to your point, we should not limit it to simply hotels and tourism, but we should really find a way in which we can bring the tourist to the farmer or to the farm so that they can get an accurate depiction of what local farming and local produce is all about.
Yes. I've heard it mentioned about introducing that aspect of agritourism, farm tours, etc., for guests, and incorporating into those farm tours where guests can eat fresh from the farm to the table, so to speak. It's something that we're trying to talk to and introduce a lot. And so with that, do you find that the guests that you would interact with request or curious as it relates to more of that aspect of tourism here, that they often ask for places more where they can go for that type of experience, a farm experience?
For sure. There's definitely of an interest. And frankly, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. Destinations around the world are already doing it.
Yes.
Frankly, they've mastered it. And so it's really up to us to study it, to find out what model works for us, and to make sure that we could fulfill it and execute it to a very high quality standard. Again, that goes back to creating memories for our customers as well. Customers want to feel as if their food is nutritious. They want to feel as if their food is assisting in the sustainability of wherever they're visiting, if it's the Bahamas or anywhere else, and in terms of the economy and the environment. And they also want to feel, and then this goes to experiencing it, want to feel as if they are in an authentic environment. And so I think that a farm to table concept would work perfectly in the Bahamas.
Yes, I do agree. And because, us here, Bahamians, we also like to travel. And when we travel, we want that interaction experience with the places we go. And it's a part of traveling. You want to try what is indigenous to wherever it is that you visit with the natives. You want that interaction. And so, sometimes they come in, they're like, well, we want to eat what you guys eat. We want to drink what you guys drink. But they want to know that they're getting, like, as you would said, that quality product. Do you find in the hospitality industry that the products that we are producing here are up to the standards that required by the hospitality industry? Are they able to meet those standards that the chefs want?
So in some cases, yes. In a large scale, last year we had throughout the entire destination 7 million tourists. We can't feed 7 million tourists right now, and so we have to import a whole lot of food. There's so much more that we can do, and so in some cases, yes, we find that the produce is up to standard, and in a lot of cases, we find that we have to import a lot of our food as well in terms of the quantity, as well as to ensure that it's of that high quality there as well. One thing that I also want to touch on, we have to look at the economics of farming and the linkages with tourism as well. We have a very high cost of doing business here in the Bahamas, and that's something that we have to really acknowledge. And we have to study the economics of making sure that we can provide produce that is of a high quality, but then also one that the costs are frankly in line with international prices as well. And so that, it's definitely a juggling act. At the end of the day, hospitality and tourism are business. And we have to make sure that the produce and the ingredients that we provide are of high quality, but they also fit into the business model that we already have as well. We have built a world-class destination as well. And agriculture is living up to that as well. We have a ways to go, but I know that with continued efforts, we can do it.
Yes, Mr. Turnquest. That said, as it relates to the present pandemic that is affecting us worldwide, COVID-19, and I'm sure that you being in the industry are probably anxiously looking forward to the borders opening, so to speak. Persons can travel and come back. And so it's even more vital for us to make these necessary preparations. As we well know, food security is becoming more of an absorbent concernment. And so it's all good stuff that you said. Unfortunately, we don't have much more time left to go into this interview. But Mr. Turnquest, in conclusion, would assistance, if any, when we talk about the private sector partnering with the farmers, what, if any, is there any assistance or collaboration given by the hospitality industry for farmers, partnering up with them as it relates to helping them meet those standards by continually able to grow in a controlled environment, the best quality products that we can produce here in the Bahamas?
So let me just say that chefs and hospitality executives and professionals are hungry for providing to our guests and customers local produce. And so it's really about making sure that we have the right connections and ensuring that we connect with farmers that really can provide for us as well. We've already made quite a number of linkages and connections, but it's making sure that we connect with the farmers that can provide the right sort of competitive advantage, the farmers that can provide the best microgreens, the fishermen that can bring us the best quality and the freshest grouper at the best prices as well. The farmer that can bring us the best mangoes and dillies and other fruits, so that we can create those amazing memories and great food for our customers as well. And so it's really about making sure that we provide those sort of network and connections with our farming counterparts.
Thank you very much, Mr. Turnquest, pardon me. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Carey Turnquest, who we once again thank very much for being here. Feel very privileged for you to bring in your insight and input for us here at Good Eats. It seemed like we could go on for quite a while, Carey. Maybe we might have to get you back here one time again to just give us some more knowledge on this subject, because it's the future and it's very important. And two things that is vital to us here in the Bahamas: tourism and farming. And so, Mr. Turnquest, we want to say thank you very much for being here. In conclusion, if you want to wrap up and have anything you would like to say, please go ahead.
I encourage all of us, if we have space on our land, on our property, there are a whole lot of backyard farming kits. And I feel a sense of pride when I'm able to see my cucumbers grow from seeds, or when I'm able to plant some new mango trees as well, or I'm able to really, and as well as to reap the benefits of my farming as well. And so I encourage everyone to get involved in farming, get dirty, get in the ground. It's a lot of fun. It's a great exercise. And frankly, I find that the food that I grow is even more tasty than what I buy down the road at the supermarket. So
yes, yeah.
Get dirty.
I can sure vouch for that. Thank you very much, Mr. Turnquest. We appreciate you being here once again, for showing us some love. And that love is reciprocated. And we are just feel grateful for you being here. Thank you very much, Mr. Turnquest. Hope to see you again and maybe stop back in for some of these goodies that you provided this time. Some good food for thought, good food to feed the brain. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Stuart.
Okay, everyone, thank you for continuing to be here. And so we're coming into that segment now of the show, What's in My Cup? My RBN Studio Cup. And so in this segment here, yes, I have a concoction, as I would put it, a drink here in my cup. And so as we said in our launch, our virtual launch, anyone that's able to guess what I am drinking in this cup, what's in my cup, you could win a prize by leaving your comments here on our YouTube channel in the show. And the first person guess correctly, will win a prize. And maybe for those who you can guess all the ingredients in this cup and get it right, we'll also have a prize. And I'll just take a little. Tell me not to drink out the cup, but yeah. So for all those watching, all our viewers, chime in, take a chance at it, see if you could win a prize by guessing what's in this cup today. Once again, on behalf of myself, Oscar Stuart, and RBN family, we want to say thank you for tuning in to Goody.
You're watching RBNTV. We are networking, promoting, we're scoring points for you, proclaiming, declaring, here to encourage you, no matter